Advice for those of you who want to convert Muslims. Um, if you're trying to convert a Muslim and you're wondering what you could say that would convert them, consider the following things. You got to consider what the goals are and what their goals are. If your goal is, I'm going to convince you, that's not going to work. What could work is, I'll give you the opportunity to change my mind. But that's something everybody has to choose for themselves. And note that if the Muslim doesn't give you the opportunity to change his mind, then none of your efforts are going to work. So you can't convince them. Uh, Most people, Muslims or not, are not interested in considering the possibility that they're wrong about their cherished beliefs. So you would be wasting your effort because you're trying to have a rational discussion with somebody who's not willing to and probably doesn't know how to adopt a rational attitude. It's not a total waste of your effort if one of your goals was to improve your own discussion skills. Um, there's also the issue that some of your ideas become seeds in their mind that bloom later in their life. Next point. When you enter into discussion with someone, you can't know whether or not they have adopted a rational attitude towards the topic of the discussion until you perform a test and they fail the test. What kind of test? Ask the Muslim why they believe in Allah. Part of this is just to understand why they believe what they believe. They usually give some arguments for their belief in Allah. At this point, you should ask them what argument or evidence would change their mind. Uh, I don't know that that works very well. I don't use it very often. If they push back, refusing to answer, or worse, they say, nothing will change my mind, then you have your answer. They failed your test. They have shown that they have not adopted a rational attitude toward the topic. Now it's time to end the discussion because it's going nowhere. The next point. Could your interpretation of the test results be wrong? Of course. And to find that out, you could present your findings by explaining the test you did and the results and your interpretation of the results. And you explain those findings to the Muslim, and maybe they can convince you otherwise. But don't let them hijack the discussion and change the topic to stuff that doesn't matter to the topic. You entered the discussion to discuss a particular topic, and you should only discuss that topic unless you both agree to discuss some other topic. Something that might be more important than everything I said above is this. Who initiated the discussion? Is it the Muslim who is pressing you about why you don't believe in Allah? If so, there are two good ways to reply. Ask them why they believe in Allah and what would change their mind. Or tell them why you don't believe in Allah, which effectively works to teach the Muslim how you think. The other possibility is you are the one that pressed the Muslim about why they believe in Allah. If so, just make sure that they actually want to have this discussion with you. Don't pressure them to talk about it. If you do this, you're coercing them, and it will reliably result in them not adopting a rational attitude toward the topic. What do you think? Um, uh, have I missed any important issues that would help ex-Muslims in their efforts to convert Muslims? I'd like to know. Um, he says, laugh out loud. So ex-Muslims get mad at Muslims trying to convert them, but yet your motives is to convert a Muslim? To what exactly? What benefit do you gain from trying to convert a Muslim? So I wrote this post in response to ex-Muslims saying that they want to convert Muslims. I understand why they want that. It's because if their family turned ex-Muslim, their lives would have a lot less suffering because the source of abuse would be gone, or a big, or a part of the source of abuse would be gone. Um, he said, "To what exactly?" I said, "I guess anything is better than Islam." Um, and he said, "What benefit?" I said, "See above." He said, "Thanks for being civil," which is interesting. It's like he was expecting me to not be civil. I guess he's either going on past experience of ex-Muslims not being civil, or he's going by what he thinks is my morality. He thinks I am an atheist who can't have morality. So then, being uncivil is, amoral. Like there's no problem with it. Anyway, he says, I'm trying to understand. No, he says, I'm not trying to be inconsiderate, but there is so much right now, let alone somebody who made the choice to leave Islam. I mean, for those who chose to leave Islam, how do they expect to connect with their family members when those family members are also feel like their beliefs are being criticized as well? Um, I noticed I didn't reply to most of this. I just replied to the thanks for being civil. It's basic decency. I don't think it deserves a thank you, but since you said it, you're welcome. Can I ask you a question kind of unrelated to Islam? Do you support or do you condemn apostasy laws? Okay, I know why I'm asking this question now. I started asking this question recently, a few days ago, to get people to my Uniting the Cults. I'll talk about this more later. He replied with something. I'm going to just say the part that I quoted. He said, meaning, while I don't support the death penalty for apostasy. Oh, good. So I said, so would you voice your support to get rid of apostasy laws? And he said, even if I did support, what's that going to do? So I said, I'm starting an organization to solve that problem. I invite you to join me in Uniting the Cults. The other part he said was, I have a question now for you. As an ex-Muslim or apostate, why have you made it your purpose to criticize Islam? And I repeated what I said earlier, is to save people from suffering. And he said, like, if you are happy where you are now, why don't you live your new purpose and find the path that resonates with you and make that your goal? I am doing exactly that. My new purpose is to get rid of apostasy laws worldwide and to help Muslims and ex-Muslims out of the fucking shit they're in. That is my new goddamn purpose. He said, or she, can you elaborate on the suffering? I said, for example, living with fear that your head will be cut off if you reject your religion. I'm going to go back to an older version of this. Um, I'm going to just focus on the replies that I replied to. So let's see. He says, you're blatantly wrong on your second point. Oh, right. I remember this now. And he's right. I was wrong. But what I was wrong about was I used some incorrect wording. It's not what I meant. So anyway, that got resolved. Um, um, let's see, maybe to add on, but take note, it can be extremely difficult to do conversation in the first place. Spirituality and religion are usually a strong pillar of support for some people as they face their weakest moments. So you seemingly attacking that pillar can trigger very emotional responses. There's also the chance that this is the only thing helping them stay sane or happy. So caution is advised. I'd say make sure that they have at least something they can hold on to if you find out that Islam is a strong pillar in their lives, just so if that crumbles, they can at least still rely on something else. I do think we need to be replacing things, not just getting rid of things. So, a lot of people, they believe in Islam for their own reasons, not just my mom told me. Um, and those things, it might be something like, for me, it was, I remember thinking this before I got married, um, that Islam is important for morality. So now what ended up happening with me though is I realized Islam is wrong, and then I went to find a replacement. but it wasn't a religion. It's just philosophy. Um, so I was adding something to what he said. A lot of people, I know people like this, they connect their religion with like their dead mother. And they have this thought that if I reject my religion, I'm rejecting my dead mother. And they don't want to do that. Um, then we talked about therapy and counseling. Yep, all of that is helpful. Somebody said, take care of your physical safety and anticipate violence. Yeah, there's more cases though. It's bad to press a Muslim about their beliefs when they don't want to talk about it anymore. My parents had this problem. My dad's a Muslim. My mom's an ex-Muslim. For a long time, for years, my mom was kind of um, um, harassing my dad about Islam. Um, and my dad would definitely make mistakes that my mom was responding to. Like he would say things that he knew would annoy her, and then she would do her harassing. Um, and then I remember talking to her about that a few times, and now she stopped. She doesn't harass him anymore. But also, he doesn't say those things that dig into her. So I think they both improved a little bit, and now they don't have these stupid fights. Um, let's see. So let's see. Why would you want to convert someone? The world would be a better place without everyone trying to convince each other of their theological choices. Just let them be in peace. Well, people are not in peace though. Like, apostasy laws. All right, that's enough for this post.